Alright, good afternoon. My name is Brad Lev. I am the host and founder of Studio Gourmet, the talk show that's not all about the food. Today we have a special guest, chef owner David Lawrence from 1300 Fillmore.
The style of food that we do at 1300 is American cuisine, kind of 20 ingredients, with a southern accent to it. So you're looking at me going, I know you're black, you have an English accent, how are you doing soul food? Well, my wife's family's from the South, and she made me grits once. They didn't like it, I thought I could improve on it. So I went and did it, and she kind of liked what I did.
First of all, tell me what you guys think about 1300 Fillmore, the decor, the ambiance, things like that.
Well, I think it's really unique in San Francisco to have something with this kind of cool, really jazzy feel, and that's pretty specific to this part of town. So it had kind of been on our to-do list for a while to come here and to try it. So
I can't wait for her to start singing and have some breakfast.
Right. Excellent. So what are you guys going to order? What looks good on the menu?
Well, what I want to order is the fried chicken because I hear it's amazing.
Fried chicken is supposed to be the best in San Francisco, they say.
Yeah, I know. So I think I might have to.
I think you should.
I deserve it.
It's Sunday, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Having some mimosas and some fried chicken.
Exactly.
What do you think?
Treating ourselves.
I was going to go with eggs Benedict if they can make it vegetarian. The chef.
I'm pretty sure the chef can probably do
Maybe
that.
he can put a word in.
Yeah. Yes. So you said you came to dinner here one before. What was your experience at dinner?
Oh, it's amazing. It's such a really cool place, and the food was excellent, and they've got awesome live music going on the whole time, and yeah, we just had a blast.
The most important part of cooking, paste. A pinch more cayenne. Okay, my grits are nice and creamy. Yep. We use a lot of mushrooms in our restaurant. We have a vegetarian dish, so we use the stems, and we just cook them down with water, onions, carrots, and get the flavor, instead of just using plain water. So, this will be a typical plate up at the restaurant. We serve this as an appetizer like this, or we use them as a muse. We'll use one. That look good. And then I'll finish it off with a little bit of garlic chips. I've taken garlic, I slice them very thinly, like this, and then I'll deep fry them in more oil. Don't want too many, because they'll get stuck in your teeth. And I'll take a little bit of parsley.
In the food business a long time. While I was there, I actually started Studio Gourmet as kind of like just a fun activity. And when I moved back here to San Francisco, I thought it would be a great place to start it up again. And the reason why I really do it is because, to me, chefs are artists. They really have a passion for their food, and the plate, to me, is the canvas. And the ingredients that they have, the things that they use, are equal to their paintbrushes, and so it's really, for me, amazing to be able to watch these individuals do the things that they do. But more importantly, every chef has a different background. They have their personal taste, where they're from, their influences, and that what makes them all individual. Each chef has a different style, And that's what we're here to learn about, is why they do the things that they do. I don't really talk about the food, I talk about them as the people and where they're from, and their stories and their experiences, and that's where they are today. What was it like growing up in London? Is anything different?
Well, having not grown up anywhere else.
It's kind of hard to say, right? Like,
Yeah, London was, for me, was an experience. It was a great experience. We were poor, but I didn't realize I was poor. I thought I was pretty rich, you know. I picked up a job at the age of 13, so I made money at that point, and I was pretty well off, so I considered that being well off. The job was working in a carpet shop, delivering carpet and going to all these houses throughout London, and some really snazzy, fancy houses. I remember one house, they had a swimming pool in there, and we were doing deliveries there for a whole week. And I brought my swimming trunks with me. And I was there every day with my swimming trunks, hoping to go in. I couldn't swim a lick, but I wanted to go in, you know, say I've been in an indoor pool in a house in London. And at the end of the week, the owner of the house like saw me looking at the pool and just like, he says, "Do you want to go in?" I go, "Yeah." He says, "You should have said in the beginning, you could have gone in all week." And I was able to jump in. And I jumped in, I was on the side like this until I learned to swim. I was born in England, in a town called Burton-upon-Trent in England, which is up in the Midlands. My family's West Indian, and during the 50s and 60s, a lot of West Indians went to England because after World War II, there was a lack of manpower over there, and they were trying to rebuild the country. So the English invited a lot of people from the colonies, the old colonies, to come and help rebuild the country. And my mum and dad were part of that migration to England to go there. Thank God they did, or else I wouldn't be here talking to you today.
So what did your parents do?
My mum was, she took care of old people, in a hospital, a home. Mm-hmm. My dad was in the restaurant business. He wasn't always in the restaurant business. As I got older, he migrated there. And worked in steakhouses. Like Ruth Chris, he was a pretty famous steakhouse chef. I didn't realize it during the time, but you know, I'd go into the restaurants, you know, work there, and I'd pick up jobs as a dishwasher in the restaurants at the age of 14. And the customers come back and said, "You know your dad's really good?" I'm like, "Yes." Yeah, he's really good. We go, wherever a restaurant he goes, we go there. And it's the first time I realized that my dad was pretty good at what he did.
You started first cooking for your brother at home. How did that start off?
Well, we had to cook. I had to cook at home. Like I said, my mum and dad separated and got back together. But during one of the separations, we had to eat because Dad was out, you know, and he would bring food home from the restaurant for us. But you know, in the meantime, you know, I want to eat. We're growing boys. We're big, strapping boys. So Paul wasn't going to cook, so I started cooking, and he kind of enjoyed what I was doing. And at that point, at the age of 13, 14 in England, you have to kind of decide what you want to do as a career-wise, because when you go back at 14, all your schooling's geared to it. Not many people know what they want to do. So, so you kind of pick subjects that you're pretty good at. I kind of knew what I wanted to do at 13, 14 already. I knew I was going to be a chef. I liked it. You know, the Galloping Gourmet was my hero. I used to watch him all the time. And so I took home economics at school, which was a cooking class that we did at school. And me and a guy called George were the only boys in there. And all the guys all around us like, "Wow, you're in a girls' class?" I'm like, "Yeah." But you know, it was funny being in that class, learning to cook. And I remember two girls sitting behind me, and one of them turned around to the other one and said, "Wow, that David Lawrence is pretty good looking." The other one turned around to the other one and said, "Ugh, he's horrible," you know? So at that point I realized in life, some are going to like you and some are not. So just don't worry about it, just move on. I thought I was good, you know? I was there cooking, I was handling this restaurant, cooking for 60, 70 people, no problem. Steaks, mixed grills, you know, doing some fish, deep frying, some baked potatoes. I thought I was it. I thought I was the gourmet chef. And I turned around to the owner and I said, "Wow, I'm handling this. I need a pay raise." And they go, "Okay, David, you just got here." I'm like, "But look what I'm doing. I'm doing all this. I need a pay raise." He goes, "Oh, well, let's look at this in a month's time." He goes, "Okay." So a month came and I went back to him and I said, "I want another pay raise." And at that point he said, well, we're not going to give it to you. And I like walked out, stormed out. You know, someone as good as I am, you know, at the pinnacle of my career already. Are you not going to pay me? I walked out. And then I had no job. You know, the situation kind of dawned on me. I had no job. So I went to a recruiting office to go and get a job. And they said, well, what have you done? I said, well, I was the top chef at this restaurant over here. It was a steakhouse. Yeah, but I was the big guy there. What do you know? Do you know how to do this sauce? No, what is that? Do you know how to do this? These are all these French terms that they were coming up with. I had no idea what he was talking about. So he said, go away, and when you find out how to do that stuff, come back, don't waste our time. And that was a good lesson for me. I never walked out of another job, and I went and got as good a training as I possibly can, so that would never happen to me again. And I got into Westminster College and enjoyed it. It was fun, you know, learned to cook there. And we did a 706-1, which was a 1-year course. I did a 706-2, which was a 3-year course. So I did like almost 3-4 years of cooking at Westminster College. And while I was there, it was fun because I got to meet a lot of chefs who were in the industry at a lot of different restaurants around London, and working at very famous restaurants. And I remember this one particular chef, a German guy called Frank, and he was like, oh, you guys, you're wasting your time. If you're not working at the Roux Brothers, you know, what's the point of cooking? And a lot of the chefs took offense to that because they thought where they were was the best place. And my ears just perked up. A place better than where I'm working? I want to know about this. And while I went and talked to him and I asked him about who this company was and who worked there and why was it so good, and he started telling me about it. And it turned out to be the Roux Brothers, R-O-U-X. The Roux Brothers had the Gavroche, La Gamin, Le Polbo. They were the only they had the only 3-star Michelin restaurant in England at the time. And you know, the 70s and 80s, this early 80s, food in London was not that good, to say the least, you know. But West Indian food was great, but English food, ooh. Anyway, so I remember making the decision I wanted to go and work there. And I started composing this letter. And I was up all night writing this letter. It takes me a long time to write a letter. But the next morning I woke up, and I've always been a person who felt that if I get in front of you, I'm going to convince you. More so than if I do it in writing. I get in front of you, you're going to be impressed. Aren't you impressed? Unknowns to me, right next to her, is this gentleman called Albert Roux, a very famous restaurateur in London who owns all the Roux Brothers. And he's looking at me, and he's about that tall, so he's looking up at me like that. And don't let his height fool you. He's a very scary guy. Anyway, so he's listening, and she's saying, well, we always reply, and I don't understand, and what's going on, and well, what do you want to do? I said, well, I want to come and work for you. You know, I'm at Westminster College, and she said, well, we normally take people fresh out of school, we don't take you out of college, and we don't do this until September. And I go, I don't care. I'll wait till September, and I want to be here, okay? I want to just work for you. At that point, I would have worked for them for free, but I didn't tell them that, but later I found out I basically was working for free. And she said, well, leave your information. I saw her go away, and she was talking to Albert, and they were having a little discussion. She said, we'll be back in touch with you. This was January. And February 16th, I get a letter. And I remember February 16th because that happens to be my birthday. And I get a letter stating that I can start work the beginning of March. And that's how I got in there. Lied my way in.
3 more questions. Your worst day ever?
Worst day?
Yeah.
Oh, God. You know, I can't really think of a worst day. You know, we've had bad days.
But you're like outside the restaurant, anything that goes back to...
Oh, God. Worst day ever. I remember 231 Ellsworth, moving on from there and not having a job. In December the 2nd, I have a wife who doesn't want to be here. I have a son who's a year and a half old, or just a year old, and I have a mortgage. I have no family around me. And that was a pretty bad day. But we got through it. You know, I'm here. So, you know, was it that bad? At the time, yes, but not now. And my point is, no matter how bad a day is, you can get through it. Don't worry. You know, with life, there's peaks and valleys, and you always get through it. So don't be jumping off the bridge because it's a bad day.
All right, what was your best day ever?
Oh God, the best day is when my son was born. Oh, absolutely. Saying that now, he's here. He's 21, and oh my God, he's costing me a lot of money, and he's oh God, completely different.
All right, my last question for the interview is salt or pepper?
Salt. Absolutely. Can't live without salt.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I thought it was going to be something else behind salt and pepper. I'm like, wait, okay.
No?
I think the concept is really intriguing and interesting, and it's very similar to Actor Studio, but it's different from the perspective that you have like hands-on experience after, and you get to taste the product, and it's really a performance in like the 360-degree view.
You don't get to taste the actors normally after.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. Especially now where food or foodieism has become so almost standard, the more history that you get on a chef, or the more history you have about a restaurant, makes it more interesting. You want to go more.
In a city like San Francisco, when there's so much food things that are going on all the time, and they're all so exciting and so good, that it's nice to have this one-on-one time with the chefs, because you know they're busy.
Cool.
And I enjoyed his stories. He's an interesting guy.
Yeah, he's got some good
Very
stories.
charismatic guy. We both have a crush on him now.
We think he's totally hot.
Yeah, we do.
It's a great way to get to know chefs and learn a little something about cooking.
I think it's a great way to sort of understand the food in a different way, kind of a more complex way, and understand where it's really coming from and how it's informed. I thought that was a really, really nice way to add a whole dimension to the menu.
But chefs, they're behind the scenes so much, you don't expect them to have a personality. It's not a requirement. So when they do, it's like such a nice perk.
Yeah.
And you want to support them because A, you've seen how cool they are, and B, you know how good their food is.
Yeah.
It's like I definitely want. I'm curious.
Definitely, I would definitely come to another one of these for sure.
Yeah.
I'll be there in the next few weeks, so you'll see me.
So,
Circolo is such a great little venue as well. I don't know if I would, but it's a great little place.
yeah. Cool. So check us out at StudioGourmetSF.com for more information and upcoming shows.